This is Jody Miller from C2C Executive Search, and this is episode 1 of Finding the Balance. I've been running C2C Executive Search and Strategic Management for 12 years, and what I do in my role there is help people find their dream jobs and also help companies retain and engage, or I should say engage so that they do retain their employees. A lot of people think that companies just need to pay more to keep their employees engaged and keep them from leaving, but that actually isn't the case. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. But the main theme is finding the balance, and that's why this podcast is couched around that theme. And in life, I think we're all looking for that perfect balance. So for example, you've got a job. When you go to work each day, are you just excited to get there, or are you dreading it? Let's say you're in a relationship. Is it a relationship of love and mutual respect and you get excited when you see that person? Or are you walking on eggshells and you're stressed out and you live in fear of their moods or who knows what, but you're just not happy? My goal in finding the balance is to show you different ways to get that work-life balance in your life. And we'll focus on different topics on each episode. And in this particular episode, I just really wanted to introduce myself. As I said, I'm the CEO of C2C Executive Search and Strategic Management. My background includes investment banker, strategic consultant to Fortune 100 companies. I started a software company, and I worked in television. So I have a pretty broad range of experience, and I feel like you never really know what you're going to end up doing in life, but what's come out of all of those different careers is my ability to really understand people's stories and to listen and to give them advice and direction as to what path is right for them so that they find happiness at the end of that rainbow of work and life, and that it all balances together. I'm also an author. I have a book coming out this year called Shift. Shift is about how change can help you find true meaning in your work and in your life. And in the book Shift, I highlight 8 people's stories and the shifts that they went through and how they came out on the other side. So for example, not everyone in this book is someone that is unreachable or has a life that's unattainable or is someone you can't identify with. And it's the opposite. Everyone in this book is someone you can identify with. You can feel like you have hope in your situation, and you will have direction as to which way to go along your path. When you choose your path, you think you're going in one direction, but often along the way, bumps come up, or as you can see here, you can either go down one side into the abyss or the other side probably into the water, or you can just stay on that path and keep on going and avoiding anything that debris that comes along the way. And in my book Shift, you'll see how people navigate their shifts. Kristen Johnson from NBC was kind enough to say that Jody is the Studs Terkel of our time. I don't know if any of you have ever read Studs Terkel. He was a big author in the 70s, and he wrote about people's everyday work and how they found happiness. And I remember one particular story in his book that I love so much, and it was about this amazing waitress who loved her job so much, and he said to her, why do you love your job? And she said, because every time I serve you and I pick up the plates, it's the way I serve you, it's the way I put my hand, it's as though I'm on stage. So in a way, I'm really an actress. And so I love that. And unfortunately, a lot of us aren't there yet. We're not to that point in our work and in our life where we love what we do and do what we love. But that's the idea, is to find the balance and get to that point where we are doing what we love and loving what we do, both in our work and in our lives. So I'm really excited about Shift. It's 8 stories of amazing people, and I don't want to give away the punchline on all of these great people. Some are CEOs, venture capitalists, as you can see, Brad Feld, who's the co-founder of the Foundry Group and a VC. He also does the blog Ask the VC, is an amazing person beneath all of his titles and his prominence in the corporate world. And I have other people like Brad Feld in the book, but you will know them by the end of their story. And you will find that, oh my goodness, it doesn't really matter where someone is at their station in life. There'll be something that speaks to you. And that's why I'm really, really excited about the book. So I wanted to just talk about a little bit about your work-life balance and a few things for you to think about as you wait for episode 2 to come in. I think, according to a Gallup poll that was released not too long ago, 30% of us are happy with what we do in life. I don't think that's a very high number. And a New York Times article just recently printed results of a study that said 50% of us are happy. Well, that's better, but it's still not great. And what about the other 50%? So I think the goal is that we find a way along our path to go toward what deep inside we already know is what we love. And so today I want you to just think after this podcast about really what is it that you love. And you may have to go back in time to when you were a child. For example, I've always written poems. I have a book of poems I started in 5th grade. Many of them have been published later in life. I love to sing. I ended up writing a song about one of my kids that was on the radio. So you have to go back deep into your past and think when you had the freedom of being young and no responsibilities and you just played until your mom rang the bell to come in at night. What did you love? One of my kids really fascinates me because he's always been enamored with texture. So if someone had a rough beard, he would want to just feel it. Or sometimes just for fun, I'd put a piece of tape on his cheek and he'd just peel it off and stick it back on, peel it off and stick it back on. So Christmas was easy because I'd buy him cool things with texture, like a basketball that's kind of bumpy, or those really neat balls that have all the tentacles coming out that feel like cool air. And he would just love textures. Now he's a senior in college. I don't know what he's going to do with his life, and he doesn't even know, but I have a funny feeling something with textures is going to come into play. So give some thought to what it is you've always loved, and when I come back on the next show, that's where we're going to start. So thank you for joining me. Just wanted to introduce myself, Jody Miller, published author, CEO of C2C Executive Search and Strategic Management, and I am an advocate for you in finding the balance in your work and your life.